In this video, I'm going to talk about a superpower that you can use to get rich and something that I use to go from 0 to 100K months in 9 months. So let's get right into it. The thing I'm going to be talking about today specifically is time management. Now, I know you've heard this term throughout school, probably from your parents. You've probably heard it a million times, but there's a lot of things we can talk about that are going to go deeper into time management and how you can literally use it to hack your life into you becoming rich. So what is time management? Now, everybody in the world has the same amount of time. I know, crazy concept. Everybody's got the same 24 hours in a day, but it seems like most people don't understand this. Most people, identify as someone who wastes time. Most people identify as someone who's lazy or, can't get things done. Where other people who are productive, you could name any successful person, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, like anybody who is successful, they have simply successfully used their time in a specific way relative to how you have used your time. And luckily, I understood this concept at a young age, that this is simply the difference between rich people and poor people. Now, did I have people in my life, in my family, friends, who had the normal broke mindset of just being like, yeah, rich people are a whole other type of way. Rich people, that's not who we are. We can't do that. Of course I did. But luckily, with content like this that you're watching right now, with some other people, in my life who let me know this, they understood that you can really do anything in this life, but it's about sacrifice. It's about how much time you put into something. And it's about, basically what you spend your life going after. And a lot of people don't go after anything, right? A lot of people are just in their mundane life. They live their 9 to 5, they go home, they make dinner, maybe they go to the gym, they watch Netflix, and they go to sleep. No growth. They're stuck in their job forever. They're never gonna have a life of freedom. They're never gonna have a supercar. They're never gonna have any of that, simply because how they use their time. Now, when you understand time and when you understand that everybody has the same hours, you understand that time is the currency of life. So if you have 24 hours in a day, right, you can spend those, let's say 16 hours you're awake. You can spend that time doing whatever you want. You could spend all 16 of it on pleasure. You could spend all 16 watching Netflix, eating junk food, smoking weed, partying. You could do that like you're on vacation, whatever. Or you could spend all of your 16 hours working, building a business, going to the gym, doing important things. It is simply a matter of what you're willing to sacrifice, right? And sacrifice is something that you need to understand if you want to get anywhere in life. Because the truth is, if you want to be rich, if you want to make a bunch of money, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice, and you can't have everything, right? You can't be a multi-million-dollar, business owner with 16 hours in a day to go party and, run your business. Maybe when you're older, right? You don't have to run your business. You can just outsource everything and, you have the dream life. But 99.9% of the time, if you want to be successful, you want to be rich, you're going to have a lot of sacrifice in order to get there. And the reason people struggle with sacrifice, and the reason that there's only few people who are actually willing to do this and sacrifice something important to get what they want, is because us as humans, right? Biologically, we are risk averse. We are survival first. We are, safety first. Our brain is a big safety mechanism. So whenever you tell your brain or think to yourself that you're going to do something risky, whatever it is, start a business, you don't know if it's going to work out. Go to the gym, but you might get judged because you're fat. Start posting content, but some of your friends may call you cringe and you're not going to fit in anymore, so you don't know if you want to do that. Every single time you think of doing something risky, your brain alternatively literally just says the opposite. They say, okay, you can do this, but this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. And that's why all the bad things rattle through your head, right? And most people, they're like, okay, I don't want that to happen. They only look at the dark side, right? If it goes wrong, and they never end up doing what they said they were going to do, all because they give in to that safety. But when you understand that this is simply your brain and our biological programming to tell us to not do risky things, to tell us to be safe, to play it safe, to do things most people do, to fit in with the pack, to not be that lone wolf, then you understand that it really isn't that important when your brain is telling you negative things. Now, in a gist, right? Basically what I'm trying to say, if you want to do something, your brain's going to tell you everything that could go wrong. You can either listen to that and be like everybody else, or you can be like, you know what? No, we're doing this. And an amazing thing, once your brain knows you're doing something, right? David Goggins talks about this with fitness, obviously, with the running analogy. Once your brain knows you're doing something, once you've proven you've actually taken action and you're committed to something, your brain is going to adapt. So not only is your brain a big safety mechanism, but it also adapts to everything you're doing. So maybe at the start, right, you're only thinking of the negatives. But say you start a business, you finally push through, you get that first sale, you make that first bit of money. Your brain's going to be like, okay, we're in the game now, we're doing doing this. Now let's, translate our thoughts to keep pushing towards this goal because we're doing it. It's the same thing in survival, right? This is why our body sweats. This is basic human biology. We sweat so that we can, lose weight and give off some heat from our body that we're, that we're riling up once we're running, once we're doing any physical activity. Like, this is just biological, science. And the point is, it also happens with your brain, it happens with your thoughts. It's a big safety mechanism. So only a few people in this world, only the 1% of people are willing to not listen to their brain, those horrible, negative thoughts that are constantly in your mind, and override that with their goals, with their ambition, and actually willing to make a sacrifice. Because not only are too many people invested in societal norms, but if you go a level deeper, too many people are committed to their own brain, just telling them to always do the safe thing. But the interesting thing about life is that every single thing comes with a sacrifice. Every single thing comes with a price. The reason I'm rich is because I invested a ton of time, I gave up a ton of pleasure, and then once I put in all the work, all the labor, then I got rich. I didn't just snap my fingers and make money, obviously. So most people, they don't want to do that. They don't want to give up pleasure. They don't want to give up this, whatever, their vices, their friends, whatever it is, right? Their job, their safe job. So they never get the reward. They never get the other thing, the product, because they never paid for the product. They never paid to get what they want to get, right? So you simply need to reevaluate yourself and think, okay, what am I willing to sacrifice and what do I want to get? Because the truth is, the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the reward. The more you give up, the more you get. It's the same with everything in life. If you give up all your vices, if you give up pleasure, if you give up caring about how you feel, if you give up, caring about what other people think, you give up everything. You go cold turkey on all the things holding you back, and you use all of that energy into labor, into paying that price for what it takes to get what you want. I guarantee you will get what you want. The problem is most people won't do that. They're simply not willing to do that. And that is why it is an amazing time to try and get rich. Obviously, you should know, if you've watched any type of video like this before, or if you know anything about, online money, this generation, it's the easiest time ever to get rich, right? And everybody is so programmed because of the internet that they're more likely to stay with societal norms than, to take a risk. Why? Because say it was the 1960s. If you did something risky, I don't even know what it is, but whatever. If you did something risky, whatever it is, right? Only the 25 people in your town are going to know. But if you do something risky and it goes on social media, people talk about it, people talk about it online, whatever, thousands or millions of people, if you're famous, can see what you're doing. So it's a much bigger scale, right? If you do something against the societal norm, more people are going to hear about it, more people are going to talk about it, and it's going to be more, of a negative effect on your mental health. It's going to be more of a negative effect in your brain. Too many things to list out. Oh my God, these people are calling me cringe. These people don't like me. These people are saying this, and more things are going to basically bombard your head, telling you to stop, telling you to give up. So right now, you can use that as a superpower. You can use the fact that everybody is too scared to go against societal norms. Everybody is so programmed because of everything they see online that if you're simply willing to make a sacrifice and take that risk and actually start what you're trying to go after, then you're going to beat 80% of people by default. After that, you're only left competing with 20% of people. And guess what? 10%, probably 15% actually, stop in that first period. Stop in the first few weeks, few months, whatever, first year, when it gets hard and they haven't seen any results. So if you just keep going, right? By simple math, if you just keep going and you push through the hard times of whatever you're trying to achieve, most of you, you're probably, talking in business terms. If you push through that hard time of your brain telling you to stop, you haven't made any money yet, you made a sacrifice, maybe you quit your job, whatever, maybe your friends don't get along with you. If you can just push through that, you're literally in the top 5% already. By just starting and by just pushing through the hard times, you're already in the game. And these are the people that win, right? And the people that, continue to not get comfortable when they've had success, the people that are ruthless, the people that are always trying to get better, that is how they breed the 1%. So if you would just start and you would stop listening to your brain, psyching yourself out, and you would understand the biochemistry of your brain, because once you understand it, it's easy. Once I understood that all the things that my brain is telling me is just noise and that it's just telling me to stop because it's a risky thing, that you are going to be able to bypass that much easier. Too many people think that, they get all these negative thoughts in their head and they think, oh my God, I can't do that. Look, what if this goes wrong, this goes wrong, this goes wrong. But the crazy thing is, if you focus on that, even if you do start, it's guaranteed that it won't happen, that those negative things will take place, because we are our thoughts, right? And something I want to say, just something I talk about on a lot of my videos, is that if you knew the power of your thoughts, you would never think negatively again. And the people that understand this are the people that become rich, are the people that are high achievers, are the people that are in the top 1%, because they only think about what they want. I don't think about negative outcomes. I don't live in fear. I don't identify in that language, because if I did, guess what? I would fail and I would be fearful. God is faith, the devil is fear. If you allow fear into your life, if you allow all these negative thoughts, just negative energy into your life, it's going to consume you, and it's simply going to compress you as a person. You're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. You're not going to achieve your goals. You're not going to do any of that stuff because you're too busy getting consumed by negative thoughts. If you're religious, right? Or if you believe in God, you should understand that faith is God, right? Having faith in God. And if God is watching over us, if the universe is watching over us, why would you be afraid to take the risky move? Because the truth is, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, if you take a massive risk, it is never going to let you fall on your face. The risk is always going to lead to a reward. And I know that might sound like a mental, voodoo thing, a little bit of, something that you wouldn't believe. Like it's just some, airy-fairy type stuff. But it's 100% true. If you take a risk, you will get the reward. If you have enough courage to do something that most people aren't willing to do, and you try hard at it, the universe is going to give you what you want. It's 100% true. Every single person I see, whether I'm coaching them, whether it's people online, whether it's external, any person I know, people who genuinely give their all to things, they get it. I genuinely gave my all to my business and achieving my goals, and I got it. And it's the same thing with everyone else. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that all you have to do is try. And the time management thing, right? To get back to the point of this video, is it comes back to this, right? Because time can be converted into anything. Time can be converted into building a business, into getting stronger, into getting smarter, or it can be converted into pleasure, partying, drinking, smoking weed, all those things. You just have to make that choice. And to make that choice, you need to understand that your brain is going to lean you towards pleasure. Your brain is going to tell you not to do the risky thing. Don't start that business, blah, blah, blah. You need to have enough delusional self-belief, and you need to understand the goal is more important than what your brain is telling you. Your goal is more important than your negative self-talk. If you give into that, you're going to lose. When a skier is skiing down a hill, he doesn't look at the tree. If you look at the tree, you're going to hit the tree. You look at the path, and it's the same thing with everything. If you want to get rich, you don't look at what could go wrong. You don't look at all the negative things. This person's going to judge me. What if I lose all my money? What if I don't get my job back? All these things. No, you look at what if it does go right. I know it's stupid. I know the glass half full, giddy optimism thing is stupid, and you don't need to act like one of those people who are just always smiling and all that stuff. But in your head, you need to have positive thoughts, because if you guys know anything about the law of attraction, which is extremely important to become successful, you know your thoughts become your actions, which become your reality. This loop constantly repeats, right? So if you have negative thoughts, you're going to have negative actions, and your circumstances, aka your reality, real life, is going to be negative for you. But if you have positive thoughts, if you're building a business, if you're only thinking about the money you're going to make, if you're only thinking about things going right, you working hard, you succeeding, that's going to lead to your actions. Because if you genuinely believe that you are going to win, if you have enough self-belief in yourself that you can do it, you're going to work harder, you're going to move faster, you're going to do all the things you need to do to get to that goal, because you're so confident in your thoughts that it's going to happen. And guess what? Once you do that, it's going to lead to your reality. So we are what we think about. If you know about the law of attraction, if you've studied Brian Tracy, if you've studied any of these philosophers who have discovered this, you know that this stuff is true. Like I said at the start of the video, I know this stuff might sound airy-fairy, all that, but take it from me. I was broke. I was a broke college kid, or about to be a college kid. I was a broke high school kid about to go to college, right? I had no path. I was supposed to go to college. I didn't want to go. That summer, I started making money. And when I started my business, the only thing I was thinking about was succeeding, because I had ambition, I had delusional self-belief, I knew I could do it. I didn't know how, but I knew I could do it. And when I finally started actually working towards something, the business I run now, when I finally had a goal and put my all into it, I slowly built more and more confidence. I slowly felt better, my mental health got better. I slowly not only built my income, but built my vibration, which is, what our reality is made out of. We are energy, we are vibration. The higher vibration you're on, the better things you're going to achieve. You're going to attract good things into your life. So as I was building this business, I slowly built myself up, not only, fiscally with money, which, is a byproduct of it, but also my vibration, my mental health, how I felt. And when I did that, I constantly attracted good things into my life. And what it says in, As a Man Thinketh, which is another great book by James Allen, or, The Law of Attraction, or Brian Tracy, any of these guys who, believe in this stuff, is that what you think about becomes true. Who you are is what you have thought about in the past. So if you're only thinking of negative things are naturally going to occur in your life. It's like these people, right? These losers that you probably see. Hopefully you're not one of these people. Maybe you are. You can't be that guy who's always like, oh, I can't catch a break. This is going wrong. This is going wrong. Guess what happens to those people? I know you've seen it. More bad things happen. But it always seems like, right? The guy who's just constantly like, you know what? Yes, that happened, but this is the positive thing that can happen. The guy who's always looking on the bright side. It just seems like good things always happen to that person. And it's not a coincidence. It's because his thoughts are positive, so you're identifying more positive things in the world and more positive things are going to happen to you, right? We were talking about brain and biochemistry, right? Your brain is also only going to identify things you're looking for. A super easy analogy, which, went viral online a few years ago, is like someone asked someone, right? How many red cars have you seen today? Oh, I don't know. Like, why would you know that, right? But as soon as he told that person to start looking at the red cars, all he could see were red cars. Red car, red car, red car. Why? Because your brain is identifying what you're looking for. It's the same thing with your thoughts. If you have positive thoughts, if you're thinking about being rich, having good opportunities, making money, all these positive things, your brain is going to identify that, right? Your brain is going to look into the world and create your reality. So this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity. All these things are going to come to light and you're going to start attracting money or what you're striving for into your life. Now, once you understand this, you should never have negative thoughts again. Now, let me rephrase that. Everybody has negative thoughts, but you wouldn't purposefully think negatively because these are two completely different things. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Everybody has negative thoughts. I have negative thoughts. Everybody in the world does. But you need to shut that down. Other people simply like the feeling of feeling sad, of giving into those negative self-talk. Why? Because when you do that, it's the easiest thing in the world. No, it's not my fault. Yeah, this happened. I'm a loser. Bad things are happening right now. It is what it is. And then you're just sad, right? People love feeling sad. It's harder to not give into that and to be like, you know what? I got to fix it. This is my fault. I take full responsibility of everything. I'm going to fix it. And this is going to happen. This is going to go right. Because it's a lot easier to give into your negative thoughts and just fail than it is to actually go and work for something and look towards, the bright side, even if it takes work to get there. So you have negative thoughts, right? Everyone does. But you need to immediately shut those down. Once you get negative thoughts, you need to get that out of your head. And once you do that and you only think on the bright side, you're only thinking of positive things, what you're trying to achieve, this, all those things are going to come to life in your reality. I can, be a testament to this. Sometimes I'm working just as hard, right? For whatever, a few weeks at a time, months at a time with positive energy. I'm happy. I'm talking to my friends. I'm talking to my family. I'm doing things. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the process. Those times I make significantly more money than when I'm just at my desk, pissed off, things are going wrong. I may be working the same amount, but negative things are being attracted to my life rather than positive things. And it's all because of my thoughts. So you need to raise your vibration. You need to raise your energy level. And now, since, I kind of dropped this bomb on you saying, you know what, if your thoughts create your reality, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're probably thinking, okay, I don't really control my thoughts. Like, yes, I do, but like things come into my mind, right? So I'm going to tell you how to not only control your thoughts, but also build self-confidence, right? So if you want to have more positive thoughts, you want to have more confidence, you want to raise your energy, your vibrations, you can, attract better things in your life, you need to start stacking daily wins because you need to have self-discipline and self-love. Self-love comes from self-discipline. And what is self-discipline? Doing the right things every day. So if we completely reverse engineer it, it is simply what you do every day, and it is getting daily wins. Whatever you say you're going to do, you need to do it, because I know you feel this, right? Especially as a man. Every single time you do something you said you're going to do, you get a dopamine rush, a natural dopamine rush, not something you get from a weed or a vape or any of that garbage, something that is actually going to serve you well. So if you do what what you said you were going to do, say you're going to wake up early, go to the gym, boom, you get that done. Your inner confidence goes up. And then you have to work on your business for a few hours. You don't want to do it, but you do it anyway. Boom, your confidence goes up. You eat a healthy meal instead of that junk food you wanted. Boom, your confidence goes up. And it's the same thing, right? Your vibration, your energy, your confidence is going up every win that you get. But it's the same thing with negative things. Maybe you wake up, you were supposed to go to the gym, but you eat cereal. Boom, your vibration and your overall inner confidence went down. Maybe you're supposed to work on your business, but you watch a movie instead. It went down. So it's the same kind of pendulum no matter what you're doing, right? positive or negative. So the people who can stack wins every day, the people who can build their self-confidence, isn't just confidence gifted from God. It's not just confidence that randomly appeared into their life. No, they are on a mission and they are doing what they said they are going to do every single day. They're staying true to their word, and you can see it in people's eyes. You can feel the energy on if someone is, a killer, if they're doing the right things, if they're on a mission, they look good. You can feel the vibration compared to someone who's just in a negative time in their life. Bad things are happening to them. They don't have any self-discipline. They don't like themselves. You can literally feel it in the air when you see people, whether they're a good person, they're doing the right things, or they're in a negative vibrational state. So this is what aura is, right? I know it's a meme, whatever, on TikTok and all this stuff, like who has the most aura, but it's 100% true. The reason Cristiano Ronaldo has aura is because he's arguably the best soccer player of all time, and he works his ass off every single day. So he's built his self-confidence up so much that he just has an aura of magnetic energy around him, right? And it's the same thing with negative people, right? When you're around someone negative, all it does is eat away at your energy. You hang out with negative people who are constantly thinking about bad things, and you can literally feel drained. Sometimes you talk to people, right? And you just feel drained. They're just negative. You're like, I don't want to be around that person. And then you talk to other people who are ambitious. They're on the same path as you. They're positive. And after, you get an energy rush from talking to them. So this is 100% true. You may not understand it, but you're practicing this every single day. Like, that's the law of attraction, right? You may not even know what it is, but your positive thoughts are still impacting positive results, and vice versa. Negative thoughts are, making negative things happen in your life. So you're doing this either way. And that was kind of a point to prove that, you've experienced this in your life. You just don't understand it. But once you understand it, you can basically biohack your life into only getting what you want, right? This is why manifesting is true. Now, is the typical manifesting thing you see on TikTok and Instagram where it's just like, think about your goals and they come true? True? No, it's not. But that's half of it, right? You still need to put in the work. You still need to take action. You still need to work hard, right? But you also need to be manifesting. You also need to be able to think of what you want so vividly that you can almost taste it. You can almost feel it in your imagination. You're so confident that you already have it in your future version of yourself that you're willing to work for it and go all in. So it's not only about, it's not only about your thoughts, it's obviously about work as well, but having positive thoughts and knowing what you want is extremely beneficial. So to go back to the biochemistry, the stuff I was talking about, the actual stuff that can be proven, right? Your brain isn't only a safety mechanism. It isn't only going to recognize things. It's much more powerful than that. So where I was going with this, because I was going to, refer to the example talking about like whatever, red car, you see red cars, all these things, your brain identifies you as you identify yourself, right? Your brain is you. So whatever you identify as is going to come true in your reality. So say you tell yourself you're poor, you tell yourself you're lazy, you tell yourself you're broke, all these things, right? Guess what? That's going to keep happening in your reality. But if you tell yourself you're rich, if you already feel rich because you have positive thoughts and you already know the future version of yourself is going to achieve what you want to achieve, you're that confident, your brain is going to start to identify you as that way, and you're going to start to be richer. You're going to have more opportunities, positive things are going to come to your life, people are going to perceive you as rich. All these things are true, right? So your identity has to change if you want to change as a person. Instead of calling yourself broke, instead of calling yourself lazy, or just thinking these things, you need to speak positively to yourself and have positive thoughts. You need to tell yourself you're a hard worker. You need to tell yourself you attract wealth easily. You need to tell yourself that you're a high achiever. You're one of the good ones. Because when you do that, your brain is going to identify you as that type of person. And those are the type of things that are going to come into your life. So I know you've seen this, right? I made a video on this the other day. You probably know that guy in high school where he just has money, right? You don't know how. Maybe he's a drug dealer. Maybe he, gets money from his parents, whatever. But there's always that guy who has like a suspicious source of income. And the thing about it, why that works, why that even happens, is because that guy identifies as someone who has money. That guy always has money. And because he thinks that, money just appears into his life, whether it's through an opportunity, whether he gets it gifted to him, whether it's through a job, anything. Like, people just have money, right? You've seen people like this. And it's because of how he identifies himself. It's because of how other people perceive him. If he's perceived as someone who always has money, that's what's going to happen in reality. You're just going to have money. It's the same thing with broke people. This is why poor people stay poor, because they get into a horrible loop of just negative self-talk, feeling poor, identifying as poor and broke, and they stay in the same spot. They never go where they're trying to go. They never actually achieve something because they're still identifying as a broke person. So you need to change your identity. And if you want to change your identity, yes, you can snap your fingers fingers and start thinking positively, do all this stuff. But you need to do what I was just telling you. Stack daily wins, build your confidence, go on a mission of what you're trying to achieve. And once you do that, you're going to be like, wow, I can really do this. I really have another level to myself that I haven't unlocked yet. And you're going to start to perceive yourself differently. You're going to perceive yourself as a hard worker, someone who can get things done. And this is how confidence is built, right? The reason I'm confident isn't because I just, acted confident and it's just a fake, whatever persona to show to people. No, it's because I've built a $1 million company, multi-million-dollar company. I've done all the things I said I was going to do. And because of that, I have a certain aura and energy around me that I am confident because I am confident within myself. I have done things that have proven to myself that I am a competent individual in whatever I'm trying to achieve. This is why I'm confident in boxing, business, anything, just a confident person because I've achieved things, right? So if you want to become confident, you need to fix your thoughts and you need to achieve things. Like I was saying, you need to complete your daily wins. You need to do things every single day that are going to up your confidence, right? You need to spend your time doing productive things rather than negative things so that you can actually build your energy, build your confidence, just build yourself as a person. And when you do that, positive things are just going to constantly be attracted into your life. You need to raise your vibration. So I know this video may seem a little airy-fairy. I know it may seem a little all over the place, a little complicated to understand, but what I was trying to say, to recap this video, I started it off by talking about time. Time is the same for everybody. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between poor people and rich people is that rich people spend their time wisely building themselves and poor people don't spend their time wisely. They spend it on pleasure, things that aren't going to benefit them. Then I segmented it into, your thoughts are everything in your life. Your thoughts lead to your actions, which lead to your reality. And then I explained to you guys that you need to do whatever you can to raise your confidence, to raise your energy, to raise your vibration, because that's going to raise the quality of your thoughts. So you need to stack daily wins. You need to build your inner confidence up. And when you do that, you need to start actually, doing what you say you're going to do. So you can't just think positively and then not do anything the next day. Just manifesting, like I said, isn't going to work. You need to have positive thoughts. You need to vividly imagine what you're trying to achieve and then take action on it. So guys, the power of your thoughts, to recap this video, the power of your thoughts is so much more than you could even imagine. And if you understood it, you would never think negatively again. So protect your thoughts, put in the work, build your inner confidence, and once you do that, you're going to start to identify yourself as someone who's productive, someone who's confident, someone who's rich, someone who gets things done, and positive things are going to be, given to you in your life because of that aura you have around you, your energy. You just get paid. Good things are going to happen to you. So re-identify yourself, identify yourself as someone who's a positive person overall with whatever you're trying to achieve. Just only talk nicely to yourself and only work to improve your inner confidence and your inner energy. And when you do that, guys, positive things are going to come into your life. I promise you. So I hope you found this video informative. If you have any questions on this topic, feel free to leave them below or DM me on Instagram. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I post 5 times a day, different business tips, whatever it is, lifestyle stuff, 5 times a day on everything in my life and stuff that can help you guys. And then this channel, guys, subscribe. All I do is simply teach everything I've learned going from 0 to a millionaire at 19 years old, hoping you guys can take some of these lessons and, use them in your day-to-day life. If you want to work with me one-on-one and learn how I got rich to become a sports content creator, I'm going to leave some links below. We got a bunch of winning students. There's a free 4-minute video explaining, a little bit more about the business. And then I also have a free 1.5-hour long course that I've made personally to show you guys how you can make money without having to pay a dime from my sports content business. So if you guys want to learn that, check out the links below. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys watching.